What's up everybody, it's AJ with etrailer.com. Today we're going to be checking out this blowout plug from Valterra. Now this one's going to be half plastic and half brass. So you can see it's got the brass fitting here, and then the bottom part that actually screws in to your city water connection here is plastic. You easily just twist it in there, get it nice and tight. And that way, what this is for is you can blow out the lines in your rig. And you want to do that, of course, before you winterize it, blow all the water out of the pipes. That way you can put some antifreeze in there after it and let it sit for the winter. Or I recommend doing it every time you come back from a long trip, because you don't want that water sitting there and being stagnant. Your pipes go up and down. Sometimes the pipes that come down in kind of a loop area, the water's going to sit down in there, and after a couple days it gets stagnant, and if it ain't longer, it can even grow algae. So you don't want that in your pipes when you're going to shower or you're drinking water or anything like that. So it's good just to go ahead and blow it out after every time. Before you start running air through your lines, there's a couple steps you have to go through to make sure your rig is ready to do that. We're going to walk through that together and go step by step on what you need to do. First step is going to go ahead and find your fresh water tank lever here. Ours is located down there. I'm going to pull this handle and let as much water out as we can. That way there's less in the lines. Just going to go pull this and just watch it drain. That's letting most of the water out. That way when we hook up the compressor, we'll just blow out a little bit of the extra water and we'll be good. Our next step is we're going to go ahead and throw the switch to bypass the water heater. Now why we're doing that is we don't want to pump a bunch of water into the water heater, or if you're getting ready to winterize it, you don't want to pump a bunch of antifreeze into your water heater. So flipping that switch bypasses it and we're good to go. Now ours is down here. Here you can see I flipped that switch up now, and so we're good to move on to the next step. Now we're going to open our valves, because if we're going to pump a bunch of air in through the lines, we don't want to blow up the lines if there's nowhere for the air to go. So we're going to start with the sink. You're probably going to get some water coming out. We'll let that drain. You can see it's already slowing down. And we're going to go through one by one and go through all the valves. So we're going to do the sink in here, sink in the bathroom, we're going to turn on the shower, and even flush the toilet. And with the hot and cold, you go ahead and throw the other one too. Just let all the water out of both lines. Another thing to do, just to be safe before we put air through the lines, is go ahead and step down on the pedal of our toilet here. That way it would release anything else in there before we add air. Now there's two different approaches for this. You can open up all the valves at once and blow out the lines. We're going to do them one by one. So remember, the sink is open. Now we can attach our compressor, which I went ahead and lowered the PSIs to 30. That way there's not too much air going there. We're not going to blow up any lines or anything like that. We want to be safe and careful for that too. I'm actually surprised about how much water is still coming out and that were left over in the lines. We already pulled the tank, drained it all the way down. This just shows you don't want this water just sitting there in your lines. We already went back and closed the valves in our kitchen sink. Now we're going to come here to the bathroom sink and open these up. Looks like not a lot is coming out this time. We got most of it in the kitchen. Next up is the shower. Same as before. Just open up both these valves all the way. And let's see what happens. With the lines all blown out, I'm just going to come back to our fresh water tank and close the valve. So it really is that easy to clear out your lines. That's why I suggest getting a habit of doing it after all your trips. You don't want any of that stagnant water in your lines sitting there, going to cause trouble later on. And if you're going to buy one of these fittings, you might as well use it. This one, I can say, after I installed it and we pumped air through it, there was no noises. I didn't hear any leaking. I didn't feel any air coming out of the sides. So that's good. It means it's going to be nice and hold up. The half plastic and half brass is a good combination on our fitting, and it's the mid-grade version of what Valterra offers. I'm going to show you a couple other ones they make just so you can kind of get a better idea of what I'm talking about. I'm going to go with the all-plastic one first. It's got a rubber cap on it so it doesn't thread on there like the one we showed you earlier. And it's all plastic. Still gets the job done, doesn't let any air leak, but like I said, it's plastic, so I'm afraid if I drop it, it could crack or break easier or just wear over quicker over time. And much like everything else with the rig, I've been going with brass. So they do have a brass option to fall in line with everything else, because I know this is going to hold up a lot better. If I drop it, no worries, it's not going to break. And it's still got that thread-on cap, just like your bike tire or your car tire. And I'm confident this is going to hold up. That does it for a look at the Valterra blowout plugs. I hope this helped.